heartbreaking. I'm so shocked that in this day and age, there are children living in situations like that, and they're so upset when, for everybody else carrying on their normal lives, you know, maybe they don't see that side of things. They don't,
and I think we've got a really bad habit in this country of just swiping things under the carpet and pretending they're not going on, they're not happening. The situation is getting worse. You know, the numbers of children living in poverty are not going down.
Stephen, why? What is contributing? I know it's a complex issue.
Yeah.
But what is the main contributory factor? What contributes to this downward spiral? Because that was, as Charlotte says, that was painful viewing. No one wants to see that.
And there's a lot worse in the programme. I think, I don't have kids, but as a parent, you want to protect your children from stress and from worry and from anxiety and just let them have their childhood. But when your whole family is all of a sudden put in a situation where you're in a hostel and you're all living in one room, how, as a parent, do you hide your stress and your anxieties and your worries from your children? You can't. And if you, as a child growing up in poverty, you're 3 times more likely to end up back in that situation. You know, these kids don't have chances. As far as social mobility, it doesn't exist unless you have a golden ticket, you're a good rapper, or you can play football.
Do you see yourself as lucky, Stephen? I know I've talked to you a number of times about things, and look, your background is your background. I don't know how extreme it was, but it was pretty ordinary. It's pretty ordinary, your background.
I didn't know any different. As a kid, you just think, you deal with what's in front of you. It's not like that. I wasn't born into a family with money. There was love, which is really the most important thing. There was no social media when I was growing up, so not every, you know, I don't think kids were as aware of all the things that they might not have had, not in the way that they are today. But there were 6 of us in a 3-bedroom flat when I was born. Well, like, people like to say, oh, how can you talk about poverty when, you know, you live in your house? Well, because that's how I grew up. This is actually something that I understand. And
so for you, the rapping, the music, that was your, as you were saying before, your golden ticket, your way out.
Yeah, it was, and without that, you know, listen, I never sold hard drugs, but I make no secret of the fact that before it, I sold weed. What's that? There's nothing to be proud of. You talk about it in music, and that's just because it was normalised. When I walked out of my front door, everything was there. You know, as a young kid, I saw things that I shouldn't have. And everyone does, but you know, things become normalised, and then you just see certain... They're not options to most people, you know.
What options does Kelly and her family have? I mean,
that's the problem. Exactly. That's exactly the question. What options do they have? What opportunities do they have? Really?
It's great that you're making these documentaries, you're drawing attention to things like this. I know that you've been talking about, you know, male suicide and other things because of your family history, because of your dad as well. A lot of people will kind of say, you know, they want to keep their private life private, but you're actually wanting to do something to draw attention to what's going on, to actually shine a light on some of the things that people don't talk about.
Yeah, and how do you engage people? Like, you know, and we can read statistics all day, but the reason that this programme, I think, will have an effect is because it's not got nothing to do with me, it's the kids in it, telling their stories. They're not numbers, they're not statistics, they are kids. You know, and they don't deserve to be growing up in the situations they're growing up in.
Well, Prof Green, well done for you drawing attention to it.
Thank you.
It is available, those documentaries and a whole other series of subjects that the professors looked at is there on the BBC iPlayer.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much. Good to see you.